All right.
Okay, it says we're going live.
All right.
Are we here?
Are we?
I don't know. My existence is not validated until somebody acknowledges me. But anyway, hello.
Hi, folks.
Kayla Lords.
John Brownstone.
Of Loving BDSM, where we help kinksters like you have happy, healthy power exchange relationships. This is our weekly live stream while we record our podcast. Our podcast is available on all podcast apps every Friday. Hi, we are here 8 minutes early. If you arrive after the stream is over, but before I put in timestamps and you don't like the chit-chat part, you should fast forward 8 minutes. Once the timestamps are in, click to your heart's content. Enjoy. If you're here early, but you still don't like this part, I have questions. What are you doing here? But also, go get a snack. It'll be fine. We are here early because we don't trust technology. And also, we don't know what to do when we're running ahead of schedule. We just twiddle our thumbs. Hi, Melissa.
Hello.
So, yeah. We're here.
Yes.
Hi, Aria. We have another dramatic bonus section for this week. It's not exciting. I'd rather it not be a dramatic bonus
Doesn't
section.
involve me, thankfully.
No, it doesn't. It's been a wild one.
Yeah.
We did, prior to doing the stream here, record 2 videos because we're coming back with our YouTube videos again. Yes! Hi, Computer King. Oh, cool! Ignixia is so awesome.
Yes.
I miss her. I miss Ignixia.
I know.
Hey, we're all vaccinated now. I mean, we're broke now, but maybe one day we can venture towards Orlando again.
Yeah.
Hi, Tiana.
Used to get to see her at least once a month.
Oh, is it Mr. Man? Is it Mr. Monty? Is it something else and I'm just reading it funky? Hello and welcome. Hi, Monica. We're glad you found us too.
Yeah.
Yay! So 7 minutes to go. T-shirts. We are wearing special T-shirts today.
Yes.
Yours says choose your weapon. It was designed by Ignixia. The link is in the description box. Available on her Teespring shop. She's an excellent artist. We love her T-shirts. And mine says I need a spanking, and it is available from Kinky Cloth. Again, link in the description box. And we have coupon codes for both. So if you're interested in shopping in either place, use a coupon code. Hi, Lanny.
Hello.
So,
yeah, I'm well on the way. Not quite 100% yet, but getting closer.
Much better. Hi, Angel.
Yep.
Yeah, much better than you were. You know, I mean, hey, we're not here for any gender conforming, so you can be a mister if you'd like to be. I don't mind. But hello either way. Thank you, Monica. I can tell when I was feeling back to our almost normal self, because I was like, no, we're wearing special shirts today.
Right.
And then I was like, do I want Kinky Cloth shirts? Do I want Ignixia designs? And then I went, well, screw that. I can do both.
One of each. So, but yeah, I'm on the mend. All the bruising
Almost gone.
The swelling.
You got one little spot.
One little spot that's still kind of.
Are you
swollen.
still taking muscle relaxers at night now?
Only at night now,
Only at
yeah.
night, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, 2 videos recorded. One's a review. One's here's what we think you should know. So that's coming back. Yay. We're only probably going to do 2 videos a week through, maybe not through the full holidays, but till we get through all the products that we said we would review.
Yeah.
And then we'll go back down to 1 because it's kind of a lot. So yeah, it's exciting. I'm happy that you're almost back to yourself.
Yeah, it's kind of good. I'm still once in a while a little unsteady on my feet, but
yeah, and you get tired very easily.
yeah. But Monday and yesterday I was back out in the shop working.
Yeah, you worked extra long on Monday. Like you never did it on Monday.
Yeah.
You're normally in before noon, and it was 1:30, and I'm going, do you know what time it is out here?
Yeah. I know.
It's like being, I get it, like a kid in a candy store. You'd been out of the shop for what, 3 weeks at that point?
3 weeks.
Yeah.
cooped up in the house. I wanted to get out.
You know, this is not the same because I was not hit by a literal car. But I realized 3 or so weeks of not editing videos, I'm excited to edit videos again. I'm not any good at editing videos, let's be clear, but it is fun for me. So, yeah. We got about 4 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I got nothing. Oh, thanks, Monica.
Oh, cool.
Aw. Yeah, face slapping, you did it. God, about a week ago, I guess I got a little sassy. And I was like, almost melted on the floor.
Yeah.
Like, God, you hadn't done that in forever.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my other cheek. Go ahead. So, 3 minutes. Anything else?
Mm-hmm.
We are drinking coffee this week.
Yes.
I will be highly caffeinated. This is my second coffee. You might not have to put me on 2 times the speed if you watch or listen later.
This is my third.
Oh, God, so you're just not blinking.
No.
Is that what's going to happen?
Correct.
It goes like that sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We're kind of boring right now.
Yeah.
Just waiting for folks to get here.
Mm-hmm.
We did get called fake kinksters today, and I laughed until tears almost rolled down my cheeks. It's weird. Those kinds of, let's air quotes here, insults don't hurt my feelings because I know they're BS. So they're funny to me. They're legit funny to me. It's like, wait, you decided from a 5-minute video that you think you know who I am and you don't like it and you don't agree. Okay, that sounds like a you problem. It's funny, but there are other things that people could insult me on that I won't mention because I don't want to give any trolls a reason that I would not be able to laugh at. I want to be able to laugh at all of the insults.
Yeah.
Silent Wings here. Hi.
Hey, Silent. Welcome.
And yes, Angel, fake.
Yeah.
Fuzzy handcuff fakes. Which is an insult to people who like fuzzy handcuffs. They're not my thing, but we don't kink shame around here. Use fuzzy handcuffs if you like them. But yeah.
There you go.
They're fake. It was funny. I was reading the notification of the comments, and I started cackling, because y'all know I do. And JB's like, what is wrong? I'm like, oh my God, let me read this to you. Why can't I be like that for everything else? That's what I want to know. Hi, Tayshu. Hi, X. So,
hello,
yes,
hello.
Angel, that did remind me of the One True Way kind of thing, too. Monica, okay, so I will answer why I hate the Instagram handle. Talked about it a few times in the past, but that always comes up as a question. So when we first started the Loving BDSM Instagram, I actually got the handle Loving BDSM because that's our fucking name. Something happened. I have my suspicions. I think a Vanilla reported a image they didn't like, even though we don't post anything scandalous over there. And Instagram deactivated that account, that handle. I couldn't get it back. I couldn't get iterations of it. I couldn't like change a character. Like I couldn't get anything that even was close to Loving BDSM. So I finally made a new account, and the only thing I could get was not even Loving DS, which I don't love, but okay. I had to put the number 1 behind it. So our name is Loving BDSM. I want the handle Loving BDSM. I am not allowed by Instagram because they have some censorship bullshit where Instagram and Facebook will sometimes not let you use certain words or phrases or acronyms. And so I have to have that handle because I can't have the one I actually want. Often I get advice that you can just change the handle. Yes, but I still can't have the one I want. I've tried. So every time I have to say Loving DS1 or Loving DS and the number 1, I am reminded about why I hate that stupid handle. And I'm angry all over again because Instagram and Facebook and their censorship bullshit rules. So that is why I cannot have it and why I hate it. Hi, Rara. Okay, it is 12:01. We will get into it. And yes, Monica did start a rant. I'm okay with it. It cleanses the pipes. It's a palate cleanser. I'm like ready to go. So this week, we are revisiting the very first ever podcast episode that I recorded by myself back in 2015. It is a sad little 6 minutes. It is so cringy to listen to. Do not recommend. The information I think is good, but we're going to redo it and do it our style now, where we actually talk about and we go in depth and whatever. So that's what we're doing. And that very first episode was Anyone Can Be Kinky, which is true. Still factually true. Nothing to add there, but maybe some more insight. If you enjoy this at any point, we don't scare you off, we love a thumbs up. If you haven't already and you want to come back for more, and please consider subscribing.
And then ring that bell to get updates of new content.
Sure, just do what Daddy says. If you really enjoy this, want kind of more of it in different ways, you're not going to get like just on regular YouTube or whatever, you can join us on Patreon, patreon.com/klords, link in the description box. We have a Discord server that's only available to patrons. We do a live Q&A every month, sneak peek stuff. You get to watch our YouTube videos first, stuff like that. And you support the work we do. Especially at a time when we clearly need it. We will talk about that in the bonus section. Anyway, that is that. Shirts, I mentioned earlier, the links are in the description box if you like our shirts. And I think that's it. And I think you can hit the button and we can bring everybody in. And I just have one announcement once they're here. Okay. So before we get into it, I have a single announcement. JB's shop, The Kinkery, found at thekinkery.com, turns 1 year old on October 22nd. It'll be our first anniversary. So we're celebrating with a sale. The site's thekinkery.com. The link is in all the places. If you use code 1YEAR, all one word, 1 year, you get 10% off your purchase, including sale items. We don't have a lot of sale items left because if it goes on sale, that means we're getting rid of it. And we sold through some of our sale items. But it's good on, the coupon's good on everything but gift cards. So, and yes, we sell gift cards if you're looking for holiday presents. Anyway. So, thekinkery.com, we're turning one. We're supposed to do an Instagram live on the Kinkery's Instagram account this Friday, October 22nd, to celebrate. I don't know what time that is yet. We haven't figured that out. Anyway, but you can participate in the sale.
We need hats and noisemakers.
I know. I need to go to the Dollar Tree. Thekinkery.com, coupon code 1YEAR. We've added new paddles in the past couple weeks. We have one product that's on a delay because, somebody got hit by a literal car. The fingers crossed that'll be out by Black Friday. But new paddle styles, new stuff, still got stickers, still got fun stuff. We're excited, so come join us. Thekinkery.com, coupon code 1YEAR, save 10% off. That runs through the end of October. So, okay, there we go. So let's get into it. Thank you so much, Ian, for the super chat. Ian. We love you so much. Let us get into this. So I proposed this idea before you got hit by a literal car. Part of it was when you've had 286 audio podcast episodes, which is not the same number that's sitting on YouTube, but we were getting there, right? Like a lot is on YouTube. You start feeling like you've run out of stuff to talk about, and every once in a while we come up with something, and I'm like, well, technically we've talked about that before, and there's always something new to add, but when you've talked for 90 minutes on a topic, maybe there's not that much new to add. But then I started thinking about our original episodes. The very first one, which is the one we're redoing today, it was 6 minutes. It was me and my shaky, cringy voice reading off of a computer screen, desperate to not have an or an or a huh in there. Clearly, over the past 6 years, I've gotten over that.
I was going to say 6 minutes. That's a record for you in short. And,
Well, if you recall, my promise to you with this podcast idea in 2015 is that I would, quote, keep them short.
Yeah.
Everybody laugh now. It's fine. I'm not offended. I know. I also promised you wouldn't have to be involved unless you wanted to be involved. Ha. But by doing it myself, and because I was nervous, the first episode was a simple statement. It was meant to be an introduction to who we thought Loving BDSM was going to be. It was meant to sort of declare this is how we see things, so you kind of understood who you were getting and what you were getting into. And yeah, anyone of any gender, of any sexuality, of any race, of any ethnic background, of anything can be kinky. And technically, of any age. We know kids who are figuring out their kinky. Y'all should all be grown-ass adults if you are listening to the sound of my voice. Please don't get us in trouble because you're an underage kinkster. But we know kids are figuring out kinks too. Like, it's a thing. Anybody can be kinky. But you and I have never had the conversation. And there are a few topics from back in the day that were never discussed between the two of us. And so this is the start of a series where we want to do that. The thing is, we're not going to add much to anyone can be kinky, but there's still stuff. There's always stuff. Can I find stuff to talk about? Why, yes, I can. Leave me alone in a room for about 5 minutes and I'll just start talking to myself. I can find stuff to talk about. For anybody who's curious or wants to listen to the cringe that is that 6-minute episode, I couldn't even listen to it. I was so glad I had written it out because it meant there was a transcript. I went back and read the transcript because I spent about a minute listening and went, I can't listen to this anymore. And I don't mind the sound of my own voice on recording. I'm over it now. I'm used to it.
Now, see, I read the transcript. I didn't even think about listening to it. Now, for old time's sake, I think I'm going to have to go and listen to it later.
I don't know if I can handle you laughing at me that much. But for anybody who has come to the podcast or the YouTube channel after we've been doing this for a while, and you ever go to a podcast app and you can't find these old episodes, they are all living at lovingbdsm.net. For a podcast app, we have to try and keep our feed, that's what pushes the episodes to you as they come out, as light and fast moving as possible. So right now, we're keeping only about 200 episodes on the feed at any given time, and we have over 300 recordings. So there's a lot that's not going to show up in a podcast app. You have to go to lovingbdsm.net. On YouTube, I did upload that audio as a quote video for the archive playlist. I got bored doing the archive playlist, so I stopped at a certain point. If anybody's ever like, no, really, put those archives on YouTube, I'll start doing it again, but I got tired of it. It is there, and you can hear the cringe there too. And the fact that anybody heard my cringy little voice and listened to me for 6 minutes and went, yeah, that's a podcast I'll follow. Bless you. Okay? Bless you and more pleasure to you.
Right.
So,
harken back to the days of
yes,
being in the closet.
So the first episode is what I just said. Literally, I could sum it up. There's no one right way to be into BDSM. I think we've said that for
multiple times.
This recording of this live stream is 286th episode. So we've said it 286 times. Our roles are not identified by gender or sexuality or anything else. I think if you've been around here for a hot minute, you know that. It's weird. I'll say this, after all this time of thinking in that way and of retraining both of us, because we both had this problem back in 2015. Every time we said dom, we'd refer to he, and every time we said sub, we'd refer to she, because those were our roles. And I think I retrained myself quicker than you retrained yourself, and I would actually remind you at times, hey, wait, don't gender that. I actually forget now, even though I know intellectually, that out there in the rest of the world, there are people who still do that. They assume that if you're dom, you must be a man, usually a cis man, usually a white cis man. And if you're submissive, you are probably a cis white female, and you're straight, and it's a hetero thing. And is that true for many people? Sure. But that's like just the tip of the iceberg, and you go beneath the ocean surface, and it's vast. Like it's anything and everything. To me, it's so strange to label roles in power exchange or kink, because there's top and bottom, by gender or by sexuality, to assume that it's hetero just by even one looking at it. I mean, people would look at us and go, oh, that's a straight couple. No. No. This man's a lot of things, but straight ain't one of them, okay? Like, kinky and not straight. I wanted to not just say queer, because that's not a label you quite yet use, but like there's an expression about as straight as a, and I can't think of it.
No, I can't think of it now either.
Somebody our age or older might remember. Please educate me, because there is totally an expression. Yeah. So, 6 years on, I don't even think in those terms anymore. So when I see somebody thinking in those terms, I'm like, what planet did we just walk onto?
Yeah.
Do you sort of remember at any point how your thinking shifted, or when some of your thinking shifted about that?
Oh gosh. At this point, it seems like so long ago, to a certain extent. Yeah, I don't know. It seems so natural now at this point for me.
I think it's about what you get used to. And I think that's the problem with why people tend to think of kink or BDSM roles in very narrow terms sometimes, is because that is what you are used to. And so we forget that there are other ways of being beyond our lived experience.
Yeah.
The more you're around people, the more you interact with people who are different than you, I think the more you're reminded of that. But it's very easy to live in a bubble where everybody kind of looks like you and sounds like you. And that's not always a bad thing, but it is not great if you then judge anybody who doesn't represent what it looks like in your bubble, and decide that they're somehow wrong for how they've done it.
I think what really started shifting it for me was, for you as a writer, you were immersed in that community online.
Oh yes, not just the kink community, but the sex.
Yeah.
Creative sex writer, sex positive kind of community, for sure.
And I think for me, the shift really started, I mean, obviously through you, but I being very active in going to munches, going to workshops, going to the club, going to the dungeon. I saw more of it too, which helped generate that shift.
I will say, I think, and I hate to admit it, because I think we all want to believe that we're just enlightened on some level, or we just understand and have empathy and like get it. Like that's just supposed to happen because we woke up one day understanding it. But I remember my first experiences, not so much at the munches, although the munches that you took me to in the beginning were not as diverse as they could be, but certainly more diverse than others I've heard of. And that sort of opened my eyes a bit, like, oh, that's right. I know this intellectually, that literally anybody can be kinky, but seeing literally anybody that you might pass in the grocery store be kinky is like, oh yeah, that kind of makes it hit home. But what I feel like hit hardest for me in a good way was going to the dungeon for the first time, because in that space, for us, and I know this is not universally true, but for us, there was a little bit of diversity of kinks. So that was the first time I met somebody who was I don't know if this is still the correct term for what they do, but the way I think of it is a cross-dresser. Like their sexuality was their sexuality, but their kink was dressing as so they identified as a man, they're a man, so they dressed in a very feminine way and super cute, like could pull off outfits. I'm over there going, wish I could look like that in that attire. And I remember you or I both having a conversation with him where he was like, this is actually the first kink community I found where I can come in here and I can do this in the dungeon. Like he came to the door in street clothes and vanilla clothes, and then came in and he beelined it for the changing area and got decked out in whatever he was going to get decked out in that time. And that was my first, I understood people wore clothes not as part of the gender binary of what is expected societally. Like, I got that. Whether you call it cross-dressing or it's called something else, I understood that. But it was the first time I had seen it as a kink. And I had seen it treated as a kink and as an expression of self in a sexually arousing way. Like, he enjoyed it for a lot of reasons, and I never got to have too many conversations with him about it. I think you had more. But that was one thing. And then the first known to me, because it doesn't mean they weren't there before, I just didn't know, because I don't ask what's in people's pants, thanks. The first trans person I met was at the dungeon. And I mean, it was, the nice thing is that in that circle of people, it was not treated as like this oddity or this weird thing or this, you know, she was not there to be gawked at, which thank God. It was just, this is who this person is. Oh, and they will also absolutely beat your ass like the sadists they are.
Yep.
And it's not something to comment on to that person. It's not something to walk away going, oh my gosh, there was a trans person in the club. It's a thing to internalize of, okay, that's a trans person, that's a this person, that's a that person. Oh, those are very queer people. Oh, that's a straight couple, which is not something to even comment on. We are everywhere, you know. But it was a nice kind of mix.
Yeah.
And it was just being in that space and just getting to know people as people, that the thing that you know intellectually starts to feel a lot more real. And again, it's not something you run out and go, let me tell you what I discovered, that these types of people exist. It's just a thing to know within yourself. So then when you start talking about kink to in our case, a broader audience, it no longer feels natural to say he for dom and she for sub, because I've met subs who don't, you know, their pronouns are not she. I've met, you know, doms who I don't even know what their gender is, and it doesn't matter because they're just a dom. That's who they are. So, yeah, I there's a lot of benefits to kink community if you can find one that's good.
Yeah.
And I would absolutely say that can be one of them. Now, some kink communities are very homogenous. Sometimes that's by design. Communities of people who are into pet play, communities of people who are into bondage, communities of people who are into age play. Like those groups exist. And sometimes there are communities that are more queer, or they're part of a neighborhood that happens to have maybe a certain racial makeup or a certain ethnic makeup. And so the people in that community are going to look like the neighborhood or the area. And that's fine. I would say if you're in a community where, from appearances at least, everybody is white, everybody is straight, and everybody is cis, you are not getting the, what's the word? The bigger picture of what kink can look like. Like in that case, because we are for now, the majority of the world, you're not getting any new insight into what kink can be. If you're in that bubble, the question I would say is ask yourself why that bubble looks exactly like you. Like, why aren't people who do at least not appear to be straight, why are they not there? Why are there no black people or Muslim people, or like pick a group that's not represented? If everybody seems to be just like you, is there something happening that's keeping those other people away that they don't feel comfortable? To me, that's, in that case, that's not a community that's going to teach me much. It looks too much like me. It sounds too much like me. It's I can go to a Denny's and get that experience. Why would I go to the Munch to get that experience? But when we go into a Munch and there's every type of person you can imagine, every body type, the reason I can get mostly naked at a club and just not even blink is the first time I went, I saw my body type reflected back at me. I saw larger body types than mine reflected back at me. I did not see airbrushed porn like I'd been seeing in Tumblr.
Yeah.
Thank you, God. Because that is another reminder that when you think anybody can be kinky, if all we ever see of kink and BDSM online are the airbrushed perfections of 3-piece suits and, you know, sleek, slim, you know, non-disabled bodies, then you start internalizing that must be what it is. And so then you go, well, am I allowed to do this? Because I don't look like that. But going to a dungeon where there were some beautiful body types that I had to remind myself I had manners, and you're not supposed to just stare and drool. That's kind of creepy. And there were some who was like, that does not appeal to me, but also that looks like me. Okay, look at them. Okay, I can do that. I can at least do that. Yeah. I'm not the only one who looks like this. For me, that was important. That might not be important for anybody else. It's fine, but for me, that was powerful. And next thing you know, I was ripping off my clothes and running up to a St. Andrew's cross. And now you can't stop me. I'll walk in and rip off the clothes and walk to the St. Andrew's cross. But, you know, to say anyone can be kinky is important. It's meaningful, but it's also meaningless until you actually go out into some kind of online or in-person community and actually interact with the fact that, yes, literally anybody can be kinky.
Absolutely.
I have rambled. What do you think? I've also ramped my blood pressure up.
I think it's wonderful seeing the diversity that has come about in the community, because through that it has brought so much new perspectives into the kink world that is just tremendous for what it's done for the community. And that's why I miss going to Orlando. The Munch in Orlando is just amazing.
Yeah, that was kind of nice, because that was also a moment where I was like, okay, I see all kinds of people, body styles, relationship styles, outward gender expressions where you didn't know who or what. That was for them to tell you, but you were like, that I don't see that in my local Publix grocery store. Okay, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
And then I saw a variety of ages. We have been to Munches where I brought the average age down. Okay, y'all, I'm in my 40s. If I'm bringing the average age down, that's an older crowd. We have also gone to events where we could have been everybody's parents. And, to a certain extent, again, it's okay if communities crop up around that, because maybe that's the area you live in, and so that's the age range of the people who live there. What I have always found telling is when we've been the oldest people in the room, which is, I'll tell you, a little strange to be, because in my mind, I'm still 18. I can't possibly be the oldest person in a room. The younger crowd community was more welcoming than the older crowd community, which was a little annoying. I was like, what, do we have to like make your hair actually look gray for them to like give us street cred? Like, what the fuck? And this was not maybe they're a little shy and they're a little standoffish. You know a vibe. When you pick up a vibe, you know. And if I walk in and it feels like the temperature also dropped by 5 degrees because we are outsiders and we're the youngins, it's just like, I don't want to be here.
But I follow online a little bit, and a number of communities this has popped up now. You see the younger folks, they call themselves TNG, the next generation.
Oh, yeah.
And I watch from the sidelines because I belong to so many groups. I see things. And the things that they are doing in the community is amazing. All right, these people, they've picked up the baton, so to speak, and I think it is wonderful, the things that they are doing, the way they're bringing people together, and the new ground that they're treading. It is amazing. And I applaud them for that. They are doing a wonderful job.
And yet, and here's where I get, and I don't want to paint all of us old people, kinksters, with the same brush, because that's not fair either, but there are enough that look at what the TNG crowd and younger are doing, and they're the ones going, but that's not what I had to go through, and that's not what I did, so that's not real. And it's, I know, podcast listeners, you cannot see JB's face, but he gave a that's bullshit kind of expression. We know that. If you are here and can hear the sound of my voice, I think you know that. Hell, if you listen to the very first episode, you already, y'all get it. But I think it is easy to forget. Again, it goes back to, this is what we know. And so this is what feels right, even if it wasn't right, even if we can intellectually go, no, the way I did that was probably not right, but it's the way I did it, so it has to be a right way, because I don't want to feel like I have invalidated my own experience, but these people are doing it in such a radically different way than I did it. How can that be right? Now, not every kinkster's like this. They're not, but there are enough of them that people get driven away from the communities because they don't want to deal with people like that, or people get into fights on the internet. I do not, because I am not engaging in that conversation.
No.
Sometimes you can just let people be wrong because I'm not fighting with them on the internet. But it's another form of one true wayism, which y'all know how we feel about that. That's some bullshit, okay? Because if anybody can be kinky, not everybody is, but anybody can be, then that means there's any way to be kinky, that there's no one way to get into kink, there's no one right way to express kink, there's no one right way to engage in kinky activities. Hell, put a group of us in a room together that are all on paper into the same kinks, and we all like it a different way. So there's a spectrum of one into another of stuff to do within each specific kink itself. So how can we walk around going, well, the way I did it is clearly the right way, and if you're not getting into kink or expressing kink or exploring kink in the way I did it, then you're doing it wrong. Like, and then in the other hand go, but yeah, sure, anybody can be kinky. Yeah, I get that. Except if you don't look kinky the way I do kink, then it's wrong to me. Like, it's very narrow-minded, fixed mindset kind of thinking. I don't have time for it. I do have to sometimes remind myself that that is still prevalent. That is still a bigger part of it. Like, in my mind, the BDSM community is kind of kumbaya. We live and let live. Whatever the fuck you want to do, just don't hurt anybody, get consent, be aware of risks, all that good stuff. I know that's not true. I read the horror stories. I hear the horror stories, and the live chat here on YouTube. Every week there's somebody who's like, no, let me tell you what I experienced. It still goes on. But that's why, to me, on one level, the message of, hi, anybody can be kinky and we can kind of do this in any way we need to that works for us mutually with a partner, is still, it feels like a silly, hokey message. I'm kind of like, am I really on episode 286 of a fucking podcast telling people that anybody can be kinky? Yeah, because we kind of still need the reminder. Including, and sometimes especially, people who've been doing it for a long time and have gotten stuck in their ways. Those are also the people I don't have time for. I just don't have patience for that. And I am a person that doesn't like change that much. I don't like mixing. It's uncomfortable to learn new stuff sometimes. And yet, that's what kink is. You've said it many times. You have to be kind of a lifelong learner in kink.
Yeah.
Because there's always a new way to do something, a new thing that you didn't know existed, whatever. Well, that's not just about our kinks. That's about how we approach the community and how we interact with people. And our understanding that just because 30 fucking years ago we didn't have the language to describe identity that we have today, that somehow, because the language is new, that it's not valid? If that was the case, wouldn't we still be speaking like Old English from however many hundreds of years ago? Like, what? Like, think that through logically. The next time somebody's like, these newfangled words and terms and what people call themselves, yeah, motherfucker, language fucking changes. I mean, or would we like to go back to using thee and thou? And I'm not even sure how to properly use that grammatically, okay? Like, fucking hell. So, okay, so I made myself go on a rant with a very simple message. Because what did not get touched on in that first episode is how complex, it's very simplistic to go, of course anybody can be kinky. And it is very easy for even some of the most close-minded people to pay lip service to that. But then not actually back it up with their actions, which is why I'm glad you and I learned how to change our language. And we did have to learn. We had to reteach ourselves how to speak about things. And every once in a while, it'll still slip through, and it pisses me off when it does, but, we're human. I would rather talk about the role, dom, sub, top, bottom. Quite frankly, my biggest conundrum is I don't want to say dom/top, bottom/submissive, all the time when I mean both, because both, what I'm talking about can apply to both, but I don't have a better term for it. So sometimes I just say dom, I mean top. Sometimes I say top, I mean dom. Language is weird. Please rant yourself, because I feel like I have sucked up all the oxygen as usual.
Well, I think
on a very simple concept.
You're fine. You're fine. I guess what I would say to some of this is I find it a bit humorous and timely, going back to the comment we received earlier, because, we often talk about how everything done in the kink world is a spectrum. So, you know what? If you like pink, fuzzy handcuffs, all the way up to the person that goes into edge play and consensual non-consent. All right, y'all kinky.
Right.
In your own way, shape, and form, however you enjoy it, however you do it, you're kinky.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't make you any more or any less one or the other.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have this, when JB is referring to a comment we received about how we're fake kinksters and we're the fuzzy handcuff kind of fake kinksters. Okay. Anyway, I'm just wondering, is there a grand kink master walking around with a clipboard grading all of us other kinky people and making the grand determination of who is actually kinky?
The grand poobah of kink.
The grand poobah of kink. That person better have a cool hat, is all I'm gonna say. Yeah, when we start determining what is and isn't kinky enough or kinky at all, real or fake kink, we are walking away from this premise that anybody can be kinky. And just like your kink's not my kink, but your kink's okay.
Yeah.
I don't have to understand your kink or how you engage in your kink for you to call it kinky, right? I see some of these jokes, these memes online that's like, erotic is using the feather, kinky's using the whole damn chicken. Nah. You're not using the feather right if you can't make that kinky, is all I'm saying. Like, there's degrees of this, right? Everything is in a varying degree and a varying experience and expression of it. And yeah, one true wayism gets away completely from that concept that any one of us can be kinky in any way we choose, in any way we define. One of the things I was trying to jot down notes from the cringy 6 minutes when I finally just read the transcript. It's okay if you just do too. The transcript's in that episode. Is that one of the other assumptions we make, even when we're like, yeah, anybody can be kinky. That's a very high level kind of sure, platitude. Drop down. Think about how some people treat people based on their perceived or actual role. If you are perceived to be the dom or the top, and I have watched this, and I've watched this mostly in relation to you, but to other people as well. I watch a group of actual fucking adults give the person they've perceived as the dom more respect, more time to talk, certainly a lot more time to talk than sometimes they deserve. I'm like, why are we not cutting that asshole off? They're not saying anything useful. And I could be meaning myself in that. It's fine. It's okay if somebody thinks that of me too. And then I have watched in communities where if you are known to be, or you are perceived to be the submissive or the bottom, sometimes you get less time to talk. You are not allowed to take up a leadership position. If you try and take up a leadership position, everybody's looking around for the dom. Oh, is your dom going to help you too? And I think that also gets back into sort of that one true wayism thing of kink, where we think we know what it means to be in a specific role, and all we really know is what it means for us at this moment in time. Because my role as a submissive has changed drastically over the years. When we were long distance, when I was in submissive mode, player one mode there, I was a little bit more subservient. Was I sassy? Of course. Am I breathing? Of course I was sassy. But I was much quicker to be like, yes, daddy, whatever you want, daddy. You know, it was more of a, tell me what to do and I'll do it immediately. There might not be as, I don't want to say pushback, but maybe that's the word you would use. You were also more apt to issue commands and orders and be firmer in things and be very clear about what you want. And as time and life gets in the way and relationships evolve and change,
that has evolved and changed
it's
along with it.
evolved and changed with it. Exactly. And so when I think of what it means for me to be submissive, I actually have to be careful that I don't try to think back to 5 or 6 years ago, because that submissive, she's a nice girl and all, but that was then. This is who I am now. Are there things I might like to change or shift a bit? Sure. But in general, those two ways of submitting are a bit different now, but neither is any less valid than the other one. And I know, because it happens to me regularly that a lot of people look at me, know I'm kinky, and unless I actively go, here is my collar and here's my submissive shirt, they don't think I'm submissive, because in their mind, they've got this snapshot of what that means to be submissive, and sometimes it's based on their own experience, and sometimes it's based on the fantasy they have in their head, or whatever it is. And that's another thing, another layer in the idea of, it's not just that you can be kinky in the way that works for you in this given moment in time. And the only thing you've really got to worry the most about is how it if you have a partner, how it relates to your partner, and is it meshing well together?
Right.
Have you noticed that about how people treat doms and perceived doms versus subs?
Yeah, to a certain extent.
I ask because doms don't always notice. they're used to kind of being, and I don't have any direct knowledge of this. I would be curious to hear from women who are doms, or people who are perceived as women who are doms, how your experience varies from your masculine counterparts.
Yeah.
Because the gender bullshit that's out there about how we treat men and women, and then hopefully we just acknowledge people who are neither men nor women, but you know what I mean, in that binary, do female doms get that same deference? Am I perceiving that from mostly masculine doms? I don't know.
And yet at the same time, I see a number of submissives that hold leadership positions. I mean, they organize events, they organize munches, they do this, they do that, and
give us a minute, subs will
yeah.
take over the fucking world. We got this.
So I see a lot of that too, and I'm like, cool.
And I feel a little bit better about a community or about a group of people. Sometimes it's not a full-blown community. It's just this little group of people. When everybody's comfortable going, yeah, that's a submissive person, and they happen to be in charge of this munch, this event, this whatever. And nobody's looking around for the dom, like, who's actually leading. Like, I don't have any patience for that. I say this as a submissive who's like, no, I would rather do things with my dom by my side, things. But also, I don't want any asshole to ask where my dom or my top is when I'm doing shit. Thanks. But yeah, that's not, it doesn't mean the community is perfect or that group is perfect, but that's a pretty good sign to me. If you're not, pulling back and going, wait, but you're submissive, you can't do this. Well, yeah, the fuck you can. The only downside I would say is, let's make sure, if you are that submissive and you find yourself taking on leadership roles, and you're doing it because you want to give back to your community, it's important to you, it's meaningful to you, like whatever your reason is, and you're noticing that everybody's letting you, do a check-in with yourself periodically and make sure that they're not just treating you like the group's submissive, and you're doing this to, that they're not taking advantage of that, or trying to issue orders or commands and trying to have that power dynamic with you, because yes, this is your event, but also you're submissive, like that. I don't think that's super common, but every once in a while you'll come across a person who cannot see beyond their perceived understanding of what a role means. And so, yeah, you're the submissive in charge of this munch, but that means you're here to serve me, because that's what you do, right? You take care of us, and that's why you're doing this. Maybe that is why you're doing it, but that needs to be your reason and not somebody else's reason that they've placed on top of you, that they then treat you like you're there to serve them because you happen to organize this thing for other people. It's a weird thing. It's not like I said, it's not like I see it all the time, but I know a couple of submissives who organize like big stuff. And then I see how some people just are, it's like, oh, great. Look at you. You did this great, magnificent thing. I'm so thankful for it. Also, in the very next breath, I'm going to use my dom tone with you, even though we just fucking met 2 seconds ago. Like, it's a weird thing. I know it can be tough for some people. And I think maybe this is a newer person thing. Maybe this is an experienced person thing. Maybe it's neither and it's just a person thing. But I know that it can be hard for some people to think beyond I'm in a kink space, in a kink community, and I'm kinky, and this is my role, and so the rest of life does not apply. You know, it's like all of the rest of the vanilla world turns off the moment you walk through the doors to the munch. That would be nice if it did, but I am much more impressed by people who can kind of flow within the middle part and the nuance of that space, meaning, yes, we are in this kink event space for a workshop, for a munch, for a something. There may be casual flirting or conversations, and maybe a dom tone or a sub tone of voice will come out, maybe a look, maybe a flirtation, but also in the very next moment, your server's going to come to the table and ask you what the fuck you want to drink, and you can pivot and be a person who's ordering at a restaurant and not a domly dom type or whatever, because and that I would also say that's a little bit of a skill to navigate. I would be more sympathetic to newer kinksters because I know that rush of, oh my God, I'm kinky and I have this role and this is what I think that role means and I want to inhabit this role all the time. And what do you mean I have to turn it off for the server to come take my order at the munch? Like, what do you mean? I'm probably going to be a little bit more sympathetic to that than I am to somebody who's like a, 3-decade-long kinkster who thinks that, the whole world has to just deal with their role. Like, do they? I'm not impressed. Because anybody can be kinky, but we cannot always inhabit our kink every second of every day. We have to be able to interact with the non-kinky world. Yeah. And so there's a lot of nuance to that. The 6 minutes just didn't catch.
Didn't give it enough.
I couldn't have done that in 2015. I'd have been shaking in my boots, sweating on the microphone. On the laptop with the internal microphone is what I would have done. I have sucked up all the oxygen as usual. What is on your mind?
I think.
What would you like to complain about?
I have nothing to complain about. I'm fine.
Yeah. So, yeah. You were about to say something. I keep cutting you off. I'm so sorry.
Girl. I was just going to say, I think we've done a fine job of conveying this in all its subtlety.
It's a very complex thing.
It is.
Because with kink comes a conversation about identity that I don't really feel like I am the one to have conversations about identity with. I am a cis, white, I think I'm mostly straight lady on the internet. Like, what am I gonna say, right? Like, and I think that there is a deeper conversation to be had about kink communities and kink identities, and then the identity that is not about kink at all and just who you are, whether that's your gender or your sexuality or your race or your ethnicity or whatever, and how all of that kind of intersects and works together. And whoo, that's an important conversation to have, and I am not the one to be having that conversation. You will get nothing new or intelligent from me on that. And I wish I had like a off the top of my head kind of these folks, but who was I thinking of? Luna? Is it Luna Matatas? I always say her name wrong. She's a sex educator. She's got her own podcast now about, I think it's about anal. I think it's what the podcast is about. But she does a series of online workshops about kink and race and just these really good conversations. I think I have butchered her name. But yeah, so there are people out there having those conversations. I feel like we can only touch on it surface level because we're not the ones. But I think that also adds a layer of complexity to the navigating a kink community, finding your kink community, figuring out your kinks and what that means, and kind of being at peace with who you are. And like, it gets much more complex as you have to navigate other parts of your identity as well. And yeah, so I guess this one is just to reiterate, anybody can be kinky, and you cannot assume what kink or not kink they may have based on anything you see on the outside looking in, short of them telling you about how, you're kinky, so you're clearly going to hell, you could probably make an assumption, but people are also ashamed of their own kinks sometimes too, so sometimes you can't. I also would say that when you live in, and it's true, a lot of you do, you live in a teeny tiny little itty bitty town, and you think you're the only kinkster there, you're totally not. You're totally not. We are literally everywhere. Maybe in the little backwoods towns, we're not as numerous as we are in major metro areas, but we're definitely there. You're never the only one. But it is harder to find and to find each other and to learn from each other when it's a very small area that doesn't have a obvious community.
True.
Yeah. So, okay. I got nothing. I mean, I got plenty, but I got nothing.
All right. So, am I safe to say that we're good?
I'll let other people decide. Okay. I mean, not the person who referred to us as fuzzy handcuff fake, but he doesn't get an opinion. He doesn't go here, but
yes,
I'll let others decide.
Okay.
Is this hopefully a more interesting, maybe a slightly more nuanced conversation than the 6 minutes from 2015? Yes. Yes. It is both a simplistic thing and a very nuanced thing about anybody being kinky. But yeah, I think the moment you in your mind get prescriptive about what you think it means to be kinky, and if somebody else is doing kink wrong, and we're not talking about consent and safety, you are potentially falling into some layer of one true wayism. And you got to pull back from that because,
whatever your level of kink is, if you enjoy it and you're having fun with it, run with it.
Right.
Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Do what works for you and makes you happy.
Yep.
And that's what it's all about.
You don't have to justify.
No.
The only person you have to help understand what it is you want and why you want it and how you're going to get it is the partner you're about to do shit with.
The person you're with, yeah.
After that, who gives a shit?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless you are of not a legal adult, and then I need you to go away from here and come back when you're 18, okay? Read books. Read non-porn websites. This is your mom speaking, okay? Please don't. Please don't.
The kink mom.
The kink mom. Hey, I'll be the kink mom, okay? It's fine. I can handle it. Oh my God. Don't give me an idea for more content. But... yeah. Okay, we could keep going. We need to stop. We're going to stop now. We've got something major.
Oh, yeah.
Not in a good way in the bonus section. So.
All right. So are we good?
I don't know. I think we're rambling, quite frankly.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it kinky, y'all.
And we'll see you next week. Daddy.
Yes, baby girl.
Can I talk to the crickets?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm not even going to play with you this time because I know yeah. Oh, yeah. Go for it, girl.
Okay, so if you were able to watch or listen to in the background our Friday night hangout, which was done on October 15th. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You already know this. This will be a repeat. You can use this time as a bathroom break or to, go get you a drink or something. Fast forward, whatever you got to do. So, JB was hit by a literal car while riding his motorcycle on September 28th. Mm-hmm. And we thought, wow, that's a big, major thing. And it is. And he's in the process of recovering, and you can give an update after this. Yeah. And very grateful it was not any worse than it is. And we thought, okay, that's like our thing. That's our big thing to deal with. The universe is done with us. The universe was not done with us.
Nope.
Friday afternoon, when the 16-year-old, who has been driving for 3 months, left school, was taking a friend home, he got into an accident. He is fine. Nobody was hurt. No injuries, no ambulance rides.
Nope.
He was at fault. He rear-ended the car in front of him, who had stopped, and he didn't see it in time and stopped too late. He was driving a 2012 Toyota Corolla, my car. The car he hit was an SUV, and easily a good, 6 inches higher off the ground than him. He called while he was sitting on the side of the road in what is a very highly trafficked area just outside the high school. Like, literally had pulled out of the high school. Had barely gotten up the road. The car has no front bumper. The radiator is pushed into the engine. The front quarter panel is smushed, and the passenger side door cannot even be opened. The driver's door, it opens, but
with a little
it lets you know it did not have to open.
Yeah.
We had to have it towed to a body shop. I had to call the Geico again. Because I didn't get the same person to file the claim. The 16-year-old had to talk to Florida Highway Patrol and get his very first ever traffic citation.
What was funny, though, was when we showed up there, because we hadn't heard from him for a little bit, he was like, oh, good, the adult figures are here. I don't have to deal with this anymore. Like, oh, no, you did this. You have to deal with it. You were the one involved. You need to talk to the parties involved.
And that officer does not want to talk to your mommy.
Yeah.
He wants to talk to you, the driver.
Yep.
This was all happening on a night when the child's in band. He was supposed to have a big old football game. It was homecoming weekend. He was late getting all that. Thankfully, his band director's like, yes, you've been in a car accident and you have to talk to the police. Yeah, I can give you a pass for being late. So he does not have a car. We were very quickly informed through just life how spoiled we've become by having another driver in the house. Been a lot of running around.
Yeah.
The guy at the body shop, nothing's official yet. I just got the last of the pictures to the insurance adjuster this morning as of recording. But the guy at the body shop took one look at it and went, yeah, it's probably totaled.
Yeah.
It's like, shut up right now.
Yeah.
When we pulled up to where the accident happened to check on him, because we weren't hearing from him, he hadn't said, okay, the wait for highway patrol is this long. He hadn't given me any details after he called, and I told him what he needed to do. So we pull up to check on him. He was actually going to try and drive this damn car home. And I don't know what it is. Maybe there's a part of the front. It's not the bumper. The bumper is literally sitting in the trunk. I don't know who got it in there or how. But the part of the front part of the car is literally bungeed to itself. And he was going to drive home like that. And we went, you're not driving no damn where in this car.
He was getting ready to drive off in that thing. I was like, no, you're not driving that car anywhere.
So
he was like, it's fine. No,
it's not. So he is going to be able to get the points off of his license by taking the basic driver blah 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 online course. We obviously had to pay the ticket because he doesn't have a job and no damn money, but he will be paying us back once he gets money. Thankfully I am that parent. So are you. We will not let that go. We will not forget about it. I actually had him take a copy of the receipt to his room and put it in a safe spot so he would know exactly how much he owes. Thank you very much. It doesn't help he doesn't have a job to earn money, and the only money he was being given from us was gas money, so it'll be a while. We are just waiting. If they can fix the car, the deductible's I made a big deductible so we could afford insurance, and now I'm regretting my life choices. If they total it out, we've been pricing cars and what they'll probably total it out at, and we will have a worse car. My little Corolla. My Corolla looked a little janky, okay? But it only had 84,000 miles on it, and it's a 2012 and ran really well.
We kept up with all the maintenance on it, so we knew it was a decent, in good shape.
So the good news is we don't have to replace your bike. It'll cost us $50 to fix it.
Correct.
The up in the air news is we might have to get a whole ass new to us
car,
kind of crappy car.
Yeah.
that was Friday.
Well, the part I got a good chuckle about when we arrived there, I went with the 16-year-old to go speak to the band director to let him know what was going on. So we're walking up there, and the 16-year-old turns to me and says, "Am I going to have consequences for this?"
Which is our code for you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Usually you have no access to anything but a light bulb is electricity, and that's it.
And I couldn't help but laugh and told him, Mom and I haven't talked about this, but I don't think so. And he looked kind of puzzled by that. But several days passed when he realized he can't just come and go as he pleases as he has over the last few months. He was like, I feel like I've been grounded for something.
And I pointed out these are the natural consequences of an accident.
Natural consequences of an accident and being a distracted driver.
And you get to feel those consequences. Also, so do the adults in your life, but it's fine. Yeah. He's got a nice network of friends who have cars who are willing to pick him up. Like, he's got to ride to school in the morning. He's got to ride to the college campus middle of the day twice a week. I was going to do that for him, but he got a ride. But what I told him is, I need to get you some cash then because you need to pay those folks some gas money. They didn't have to do that for you. That's just the right thing to do. So we're not getting a break on the gas money thing. It's just being doled out to other people. Thankfully, he's got a band competition this coming Saturday, which I'm very excited about because I'm a band geek and I have not watched him march yet this season, and I'm very excited. We have things going on Saturday that we had planned before the accident because he had a car to drive. And I'm like, oh my God, how are you getting there? He goes, I don't know. And then the email came out that they're all riding a school bus together. And I went, oh, thank God.
Yep.
Thank God. Good. You ride the school bus and then you come home on the school bus and we will pick you up from the school. It'll be fine. But yeah, everything's like just chaotic. And so I won't go into too many details. But so this happened and he called me Friday afternoon when I didn't have a car to go get him because you were out picking up his little brother.
Yeah.
And I stayed calm. And I went, okay, first it was like, is everybody okay? Are you hurt? And he's like, no injuries. We're all fine. It's just, what do I do? And I'm walking him through it. And I'm staying calm. And I'm staying calm when we finally get to the accident site. And I'm staying calm for him because it was kind of sweet. It was one of those, like, I feel like I'm doing something right as a parent because the moment he saw us, you could see a weight come off of him, like, oh God, the adults are here now. And then while we're in between talking to the highway patrol officer and I'm talking to Geico and blah, 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 I take him to the side and give him a big old hug, and I could like feel he was starting to feel the stress at that point finally. And, we get everything sorted and I'm calm. And we went and got dinner and I'm calm and I'm just calm. And then Saturday morning, there was a dust up between a grumpy polar bear named John Brownstone and a teenager. And because I kept going, how much more can I take before I crack? Like, how am I staying so calm? What is going? But I'm just staying calm and I'm staying busy and I'm staying calm. And they had a dust up that was easily taken care of. It ended up being fine. But that was my moment. I actually ran from the room crying. I don't run from a room crying, never, for no fucking reason. And I was like, I can't handle it. And I slammed towards and I buried my face in a pillow. And I was like, in my head, there's that little part, like, section of my brain that's still kind of calm going, you're not really crying over that. You're not really crying over that, right? You're actually crying over, are you fucking kidding me? 2 vehicle accidents in less than 3 weeks. What the actual fuck? So I'm mostly calm now. I feel like you're a little bit more tense than I am because everything's up in the air. We don't know what's going to happen with the car, so we don't know if it's getting fixed. We don't know if it's getting totaled. We can't make any decisions about what to do next. Do we get a rental car? We have it on our insurance, but do we get one? I don't know. Do we need one? I don't know. Will there be cars to buy? We don't know. There's a shortage. So a lot, and I feel like you're carrying around some of that tension. I'm over here going, I'm just going to sit at my computer. I'm going to type on the keyboard all day long. That's what I'm going to do. But yeah.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been interesting. Yep.
Now, onto a more positive thing, but still about auto accidents. Would you like to give an update about how you're doing since being hit by a literal fucking car?
What kind of car?
A literal fucking
Really?
car.
Huh.
Or a fucking literal car, but it... I feel like the meaning changes once it becomes a fucking literal car. As opposed to a figurative car.
Yeah. I'm doing fine. I'm doing much better. Like I explained earlier, not quite 100% yet, but getting there.
For podcast listeners, hopefully in the next week or two, we'll get back to mini-sodes on Tuesdays again, so that will be exciting.
Yeah. So, I am doing much better. Went to had a follow-up visit with the doctor.
That happened, I think we we talked about that in the bonus section last week.
Did we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, time has no meaning, but yeah, I think we did.
Yeah. And, I've pretty much been on the mend. The bruising is just about all gone.
Yeah, there's a couple yellow spots, but no, the purple's all gone.
Yeah. I'm still tender in a few spots if I sit wrong or sit too long. Little tender. There's a few spots that's still some swelling. Little stiffness in the shoulders once in a while, but
I mean, you're a 60-year-old man who got hit by a car.
I'll probably be able to predict the weather after this really well.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. I'm pretty sure that in like 5 years' time, you're going to go, man, that shoulder still is stiff. And I'll be like, yeah, because you were hit by a literal fucking car.
On the bike itself, they did not total the bike.
No, thank God.
And that has been towed to the shop. It is in the shop.
Have you gotten any updates on that?
Have not gotten the
okay.
updates. I may stop by sometime this week if I have a chance.
Yeah, at this point in our life, we just drive around town stopping to visit our vehicles.
Yeah.
I did go to the body shop today. I was like, can I see my car? I need to take pictures for insurance. Visitation with my Corolla.
Right. So, I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Yeah, I'm actually...
I'm not popping Tylenol
No, yeah, you were...
all day long like
yeah.
I was for a while. I've pretty much cut down on that. The doctor did give me some muscle relaxers, which I was very grateful for. But even with that, I'm only taking right now at bedtime.
And you're sleeping through the night.
And I'm sleeping through the night. I'm sleeping all night.
Yeah, you've started getting enough back to normal that a part of me forgets, oh, wait, he's still recovering. Because I'm like, what? Why can't he just do this? Why is he taking so... Oh, yeah. Why did he have to sit down after that? Oh, yeah. Literal fucking car. That's right. That's right. I remember now.
I don't remember if we said this. It has been determined at this point the person that hit me does not have
last week.
Not have insurance.
No,
so
our insurance is handling everything.
Yeah.
I think we have accident forgiveness for the 16-year-old's accident, so hopefully
Yeah, hope
they
so.
won't raise our rates. We'll see. So, yeah, it's just a happy fall. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think we mentioned this a few weeks ago, but it's been confirmed. On our wedding anniversary this month, we'll be at a band competition.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. Actually, it'll be fun because I love band competitions. I did, because I had to send over some tax information for another thing that I was doing. I did figure out what year we got married.
Okay, do tell.
It was 2017, because that was the first year we filed our taxes jointly. And I only know because I had to send somebody 5 years of records for something, and I was like, wait, 2016, his name's not on the file. 2017 is, we must have gotten married in 2017. So maybe we should make a note of that so I don't have to go to tax records whenever I want to know what year we got married.
Okay.
Look, y'all, when I tell you I am not sentimental, clearly that's what I mean. So, yeah. Oh, and this happened weeks and weeks ago. I think I mentioned it at least once, but just to add to like the stress pie that we have, I've lost my wedding band. I have the engagement part of it, but my actual wedding band's gone. Can't replace it right now. I'm just, every once in a while, I'll just be like going about my life dealing with, this car accident, that car accident, this kid, that kid, and I'm like, I've lost my wedding band. Look, for those who thought, and for your life, 2020 was a bad year for you. I feel ya. 2020 was actually a pretty good year for us, and clearly 2021 went, wait a minute. We have some catching up to do.
Hold my beer.
Some catching up to do. So all I can say is 2022 has got to be better.
I hope so.
So I'm just barreling towards the new year.
Yeah.
Get me out of 2021.
Let's get out of 2021 without being any lasting scars, and we'll be fine. Yeah.
So that is our rambly bonus section. Oh my God. Tamsin asked, could it be in a jacket pocket? No, I know
No.
where it was, and I know that it got knocked off it was on a ring stand.
A cat was involved.
That knocked the ring stand with the rings off my nightstand onto the floor. I forgot about it for a few days. When I went to look, the ring with the gemstone was on the floor. The wedding band is nowhere. And was it vacuumed up by the cleaners when they come and they use their own vacuum? Was it swallowed by a cat and I didn't know to look through shit for a ring? I don't know.
We don't know.
Is it buried under a baseboard somehow in a spot we just cannot see? Don't know. Don't know. Don't know. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh, well.
So, yeah, I've never really cared about the changing of the year and yay, let's celebrate a new year, but I think I'll be looking forward to 2022.
Yeah.
I don't know if this episode was any good. I feel like it was just a giant ramble, more so than all the other giant rambles that we call episodes. I feel a little bit like our bonus sections have become like therapy sessions, but in a way that's probably not good.
Yeah.
Thanks for those of you who put up with it like this and maybe even enjoy it like this. I mean, sometimes I'm like, God, I wish we could be more professional. And then somebody will be like, no, I like you just the way you are. Okay, I won't worry about being professional then. It's been a rough several weeks.
Yeah.
We are still here together and happy.
Mm-hmm.
We're still doing what we love. We're not living in a tent in our backyard yet, so
We're not like the people behind us living in the woods.
the people in the woods.
Yeah.
So we're gonna call that a success. We're gonna celebrate the good shit we got. We're gonna
Right.
deal with the crap shit, and that's all you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll be power exchanging it all the way through.
Yep.
So, I
Yep.
feel like we have to stop telling people we're going to teach them how to have a happy, healthy power exchange, and we're just going to tell them how to survive your life with power
Right.
exchange.
Life 101. Oh God.
But that's that is it. We are good. It's just high stress stuff. We're happy to be together.
Mm-hmm.
We're we are laughing more than we're crying. Does that count?
Yeah.
We have actually been very good through this. Like, I know past relationship as well, the higher the stress, the more the arguments, and we're doing okay so far. Knock on wood on that. We're doing it together. We're getting through it together. So that's all that really matters. And that's all you can kind of really do.
Yep.
So we're going to go now before I actually do start crying. Oh my gosh. And we will be back next week. And I think at least starting next week, we might be back to our full schedule again. So yay for that. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. Thanks for your attention and time and love and support and, all that good stuff. We love y'all.
Thanks.
Bye.